We've gathered all the latest clip-style earbuds for you, and we've thoroughly tested each and every one, so you don't have to.
There are 3 price categories and 1 winner in each. Enjoy!
Namaste, we're DHRME, distinguished headphone reviews for maximum enjoyment. So, what are clip-style earbuds? In 20 seconds, Rohan, go.
So these are basically clips that clip onto your anti-helical fold. And what that does is it just places a speaker close to your ear and pumps sound in. So they also have a very definitive look, much like earrings or clip-on earrings. And one thing to keep in mind is that these are never going to sound as good as over-ear or in-ear headphones.
Because the whole point is to be aware of your surroundings.
Exactly.
All right.
But let's go on to the first category, which is the budget category, $30 to $60. Now, before we get into each of these buds here, this is how we're going to do it. We're going to give you a concise summary to not waste your time, but there will also be stuff on screen which, are just facts. So you don't have to say that out loud and you save some time, but feel free to pause and read those if you want to.
Yeah. And if you want to know more about each of these buds in depth, we've done full videos on those. Link down below. So knock yourself out. All right, the QCY Cross Sky C30 retails for between like $30 to $40, and we were really pleasantly surprised with these. It's the cheapest on this list, but they sound pretty decent. Especially nice that you get multi-point connectivity and an app with options like a game mode.
The touch controls, they work well, although you've got to be careful with clothing touching the buds or just the back of a neck and causing ghost taps. The calls are not the best on this list though, and those shiny design elements, they can be an acquired taste for some.
Next up, the Soundpeats Pop Clip at $40. We really dig the design on these. The buds are left and right interchangeable. They've got customizable button controls, and we love button controls. We are buttonophiles. Check out the new merch down below. And they're comfortable too. They're definitely not the way to go if you need them for phone calls, but you do get an app and multi-point connectivity.
Sound-wise, definitely not the best for sound. Don't worry, we have more coming up.
Like the JLab Flex Open at $50. These stay in place during workouts, no issues. You do get multi-point, and even though the touch controls take some getting used to, they really work well. There is a raised logo which acts as the touch surface, and these are fully customizable, which is a smart implementation.
Yeah, you get single, double, triple taps, long taps, as he said, fully customizable, and that customization includes volume controls. They're also very solid for calls, but for one of us, me, they were a bit uncomfortable with the jagged plastic scratching my ears. Overall, a very solid pair though, unless you're looking at tweaking sound a lot.
That's where the Moondrop pill at about $60 comes in. They have tons of options for sound in the Moondrop app, including a parametric EQ and a kind of marketplace of EQs, which no one else is really doing.
It's a very audiophile idea of sound, with the mids and highs sounding quite nice, but the bass being toned down. We think these sound way better inside rather than on the go, which kind of defeats the purpose of this form factor, to me at least. The pill-shaped case is very whimsical and fun, but not very pocketable. But we did find that it opened up too easily inside a bag, and that was annoying. The call performance, however, is nothing to write home about. And although they do have multi-point, the touch controls, again, are often wrongly triggered by just turning your head.
All right, the Edifier R1 at $60. At this price, we were shocked at how much Edifier managed to include in this model. And that too for their first take on clip-style buds.
Yeah, impressive.
Besides these things on screen, you get a wear sensor, multi-point, and a game mode.
We will say that these are not the most premium looking. They're quite bulky, and the sound and phone call performance are not quite the best.
Then the Tozo Open Earring at $60. At this price point, Tozo is bringing quite a few things to the table, and you can often find them for much lower than that price too.
Yeah.
You see the battery life on the case, which is a cool implementation, and these have solid battery life too. The call performance is decent, and the comfort is middle of the road.
But you're missing multi-point, which for us is very important. And the touch controls, again, are not the best. Did someone say controls? Soundpeats Pole Clip Pro get you all the same features as the Pop Clip for $60, but now you get touch controls, so no buttons, and that's where we're disappointed with these.
The touch part is the piece that's in your ear, and it's not very accurate. A lot of missteps. The battery life is not as strong, and we faced some connection issues. The calls were good for the price, especially in noisy conditions, and the sound was a mixed bag again. A ton of bass and volume, but the mids and highs don't sound very refined.
So, which one do you pick, Kevin, in the budget category?
In this budget category, I'm going to go with the JLab Flex Open. I just really like that the controls are reliable and the calls are really important to me. So the call quality was on point. As well, speaking of point, there is multi-point support on those buds. And for me, multi-devicing my life, I need that. The comfort, on the other hand, didn't bother me. It did bother you.
True.
So I'm curious, what would your pick be?
Yeah, I'm finding it really hard to pick one in this range, but I'll go for the Soundpeats pop clip purely because buttons. In daily use, around the house, super convenient, super easy to use. Not the best at calls, but I have to make some compromises at this price point.
Fair enough. Next up, the mid-rangers, $60 to $150.
We start with the Baseus Bowie MC1 at $70. Kind of shame, it's almost budget, but not quite. But Baseus has been in the shadows for us until we reviewed their hook-style buds, the Eli Sport 1. And those, as well as these clip styles, do not disappoint.
On the Bowie MC1, you're getting comfortable clips that stay in place, as well as reliable button controls that are fully customizable in the app. You get some bells and whistles like multi-point, low latency game mode, and reverse waves to reduce noise leakage, which actually seem to do a good job.
In terms of sound, they sound pretty decent. Again, not bass monsters, but you can actually enjoy music casually on them. For phone calls, these are definitely on the higher end. They're great in quiet and noisy environments.
All right, then next is the Soundcore C40i at $120. Getting into the big money category now.
Yeah.
But there's more. There's even more expensive ones. All right. But what an improvement Soundcore has made since the previous model, the C30i. That one wasn't that great.
No.
So the C40i, they've now added configurable button controls and made the clips flexible, but unfortunately still not the most comfortable on the ear or the eyes. They bulky.
Yeah, you still get multi-point and an app, and there's no wear sensor. And the sound can sound good under certain conditions. The calls outdoors are not great, so beware of that too. Considering the price, there are better options. Like
the Edifier Lolly Clip at $130. Being new in the whole clip style space, Edifier didn't hesitate to experiment with the Lolly Clip. Besides all the goodies like a wear sensor, game mode, multi-point, and an app, Edifier decided to support LDAC for high-res audio, active noise cancelling, and a heart rate monitor, as well as an SpO2 monitor. Crazy, right?
They just went all out. Now, all of those features are nothing to write home about, but it's nice to see Edifier thinking out of the box. Although the touch controls are responsive, you're stuck to a limited control scheme. The buds are comfortable, but you do notice them on or in your ear. And these buds really shine in windy conditions for phone calls. The bass response is rich and they get quite loud. You get a lot, which is expected at these price points, right?
So what's our pick in this mid-range category?
No doubt.
Yeah.
I think we probably wrongly put it in mid-range. It's just about $60.
Yeah.
But the Baseus Bowie MC1 buttons, cheapest in this range, and good comfort, good controls. Yeah,
A decent mic performance.
exactly.
They maybe lost out a little bit in wind, but I'm not in the wind that often, so.
No.
Hey, we agree on this one in this category.
Yay.
Okay. What about the next category? Because now we're in the final one, and that's the premium category, $150 to $250.
Yeah, we're talking big bucks, and we're going to start with Soundcore's latest offering, the Aero Clip at $170.
After the C30i and the C40i, you can really tell that Soundcore has had the time to refine their designs. The Aero clips are really comfortable and they look a lot sleeker. The battery life is truly incredible and you're still getting everything you've come to expect from their clip style buds so far. Multi-point, an app, and customizable touch controls.
The control scheme is like a bit restrictive, though only with a double and triple tap. In terms of sound, they sound really nice. I think they're very kind of rounded. You do hear the bass, and overall I can listen to music on these in a quiet environment, no problem. And the phone call performance It delivers. In all conditions, it's able to hold its own. Not an easy feat, so well done, Soundcore. It's a shame that the volume controls don't work on calls though.
And then the latest on this list, the Shokz Open Dots 1. They come with soft materials, no scratching the ears here. There are touch controls on the bridge as well as on the back, the barrel piece that you get, but there are no physical buttons, unfortunately. There's even a wear sensor to automatically pause your audio if you take them off.
Yeah, it's not something you see very often on these sorts of buds. And the left and right earbuds are also interchangeable. Now, these sound pretty good. They're more like warmer sounding and bass focused. And they did quite well even with very busy music. So it's pretty nice. Just don't expect too much from that Dolby audio feature.
All right, then the Huawei Free Clip at $200. For us, the Huawei Free Clip are objectively some of the best buds on this list because they've been tested so heavily.
So basically, I've daily driven this for like a year or more. They're pocketable, they're comfortable, goat level calls, nice design, solid battery life. I mean, what's not to love? Well, maybe the availability.
Yeah, it's 149 euros for us here in the Netherlands, but not directly available in the US. And we see it listed at $200 on Amazon. But like you've seen on this list, it's for those looking for a premium product, not value for money.
Speaking of money, let's talk about the Bose Ultra Open at $250. Sometimes when you want the best, you gotta cough up the most. And for us, that's not the Bose Ultra Open. It does not beat the Huawei, for example, on call quality, but does come with buttons that do everything.
Since their launch, though, Bose has upgraded these buds with better calls and multi-point, so they cover all bases now. The case is a bit larger than the Huawei, and even at the reduced price of $250, I'm not sure if it makes sense for most people, considering you can buy 5 or 7 of some of the other buds on this list for that price. But hey, it's objectively still a good product, and if you get a good deal, or you don't care about the price, these are still decent.
All right. Let's pick one from the premium boys. Which one is it going to be, Kev?
Yeah, it's pretty obvious for me. I'm going to stick with the king here. It's hard to dethrone the Huawei Free Clip. I mean, it's just packed to the gills with features, but it also performs in design, comfort, call, sound, all of that. Of course, the price ain't pretty, but that's kind of the range we're in right now, aren't we?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I have to also, unfortunately, go for the Huawei Free Clip. I must say the most improved award here does go to the Bose. It came with nothing out of the box. It was disastrous, and they've really fixed a lot of things. But yeah, you can't beat these guys. And I think if you really wanted button controls, you'd go for the Bose. But I've just used them so often, the Huawei, that I don't care about that.
Yep. So that's the roundup of our favorite open style clip style buds. So a big thanks to you guys, our viewers and subscribers.
And our wonderful tested tier subscribers and supporters, these guys. But let's not forget
our highest tier, which is the Fuckman tier. A big thanks to Paula, Rads Panda, Rachel, and Jay. Thank you guys very much.
You've been clipping it on.
And we've been DHRME.
Do we?
Do we?